Hi, Sue Wilson. I have a nautical themed card for you today, and this one's kind of fun because I've made this so the porthole opens for you. So I'll show you how we do that. Here's what we'll be using in today's video. From our new fillables collection, I have our porthole, and also from that same collection are the nautical accessories, so we'll use those. And we're going to do a little banner from the Stitch Flags die set. And we're also going to be using the round treat cups to create the open porthole. And a couple of our inks. I've got the Smudged Charcoal Color Cloud and the Sunlit Cedar Color Cloud. We'll be using both of those as well. We'll set those to the side and let me just move these out of our way. So the first thing I've done a little bit ahead of time is I've taken a piece of Kraft card. I'll give you a quick measurement on that. It is 5.5 by 7. And I've just scored it with some score lines on a scoreboard. And I've taken a circle die. Now I've used the one out of a fishbowl. You can actually hand cut a circle because it isn't going to actually show once you put your porthole over it. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it. We'll just line that up. And I've just sort of centered it right in the middle there. So now we'll just start creating the card, and we're going to give it sort of a like a distressed look to it. So I'm going to do some inking, and then we'll use our scissors on it. So I'll move these out of our way a little bit. I'm going to bring in the Smudged Charcoal and the Sunlit Cedar with some Smoothies. Now I want just the lightest of color on these, so I'm just going to take a little bit on my smoothie and remove a bit. We're just going to do some swiping just to put a little bit of color on it. Kind of that old antique little wood look to it. Just here and there. That's probably enough with that one. And the Sunlit Cedar. There we go. Take most of that off. Put a little bit down our lines there. Just sort of gives it that old-fashioned look. There we go. Put that to the side. In fact, we'll go ahead and put our lids on there. And I'm going to take my scissors around the edge and just rough it a bit. Just really distress the edge. We want it to look like one of those old wooden ship sort of looks to it. There we go. Just keep moving your hand around and roughing it up with the edge of the scissors. Okay, so that is sufficiently distressed, I think, so we're going to move on. So the next thing we want to do is we want to cut the hinge for our porthole. Now, because I want this to open, what I've done is I've taken a piece of Slate Grey card and I've folded it. So we're going to bring our hinge in and set this up, tape this into place, and we want it so that the very top of the hinge is off the card. Can you see that? Yes, perfect. Okay, give that a quick cut. So this will give us a hinge that actually folds and moves. There we go. And pop this out. And we've also got a little teeny turner piece that we'll use later, so I'm going to set that there. So now this will open, okay? So the first thing we can do is take one of our already cut portholes. Now I've taken and cut 3 of these ahead of time out of the same Slate Grey card. You're going to need 3. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on the edge of one of the sides. I'm going to pop that right across from where the little turner handle is. There we go. Just let that get sticky and hold that. Turn that around. We're going to put this onto the treat cup now. So in fact, let's just put a little around here. Pop that over the top. Give that a second. Now because it's going to open, I want to put another one on the back of that. to hide the back of the treat cup, so I'll pop some glue on that. Line that up exactly. Oops, stay. Tell you what, let's see where, there it is. Let's go that way. Oops. Get that on there. Just give it a second. And then the last one, we're going to tape, or excuse me, glue around the edge here. There we go. Pop that into place. And that will fit that circular hole perfectly. That may need a tad bit more glue, and then we can pop a little bit of glue right on the same spot. Just put a little bit more in there. That should do the trick. Get that on nice and good. There we go. I think we're good now. Okay, so now you've got a hinged porthole. We can work further from that. So the next thing I want to do is create the scene behind it. So I've got a little piece of white card and some Stormy Sky Distress ink. And let me bring in a smoothie and a little piece of copy paper here. So I'm just going to create some little clouds across the top. Keep that light. And I've just hand cut a little stencil with some scallopy bits on it. And I'm just going to keep moving it around and doing some inking. Depending on how light or how dark you want it, you can add more ink or take ink off. Just move it a little bit. And it just gives you that illusion of a sky behind your little boat. There we go. That's probably very good. Okay, so I've cut the boat in two colors. I've got white and a blue. So what I want to do is I want to take the blue part of that and put it onto the white part. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue down here. There we go. Take my scissors. We are just going to nip away this bottom area of the boat. There we go. Pop that down in place. Give that a second. And I've cut some of the waves in Blue Dusk and in white. So we're going to glue those into place. There we go. I'm just going to use a little bit of spray glue here. And pop that down. Whoops. In fact, let's do the blue one first, and then we'll alternate. So I can use blue. There we go. That'll stay. Do a white one on top of that. Just a little offset. Do another blue one. There we go. And I'll use a little bit of glue and tuck my sailboat in there. Just so he looks like he's in the waves. Let's just lift that little guy. Tuck him right in there. There we go. So now that can sit behind our porthole window. So we'll use a little bit of glue behind that. And we'll center that so that it shows nicely. That looks really nice. Give that a second to set up. Okay, so now I want to add some of the decorations around it. So I have got a piece of jute, and I've just taken it and coiled one side of it, used a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer glue, just rolled it and let it dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into place. Let's use a glue dot to hold it, and that way if we need to, we can kind of move it around a little bit. And we want to pop that right up in the upper corner. There we go. And I'm going to use a couple more glue dots and just sort of wind this around. Just lock it into place. Get that right like that. Maybe a little more here. We can add another spot right down here. There we go. And we're going to put a banner here. So I've cut one of the stitched banners, the largest one. So I'm just going to fold it in half, and we will run that right through it. I'm going to put a glue dot down on the bottom and fold it over it. There we go. We can set that down in a second once we get the rest of our rope done. Pop that through, and I'm going to just give another glue dot right about here to hold it into place. And I think that's probably long enough, so I'm going to trim it. And then we're going to just open up the ends of that. So the next thing I want to do is use my anchor, and there's a little rope piece that's part of the set, and you can wrap this right around the anchor. It goes in, oops, around the top, and then around the bottom. There we go. And then you can tuck it right under the bottom of the anchor. So it fits perfectly. So I'm going to use a glue dot, I think, and hold that so it looks like it's right at the end of that rope coming off of there. And I've done the ship's wheel, and I've done this out of chestnut brown, and I've done 3 of these and glued them, stacked them together just to give a little bit more dimension. That is going to sit right behind that. Pop that into place about like that, with the ship's wheel coming off of that. And I've got the periscope. I'm going to use a little glue on that. Pop that right off the end of that there. I've got the compass, and we can even add just a little bit of color to this compass to bring it out. I've cut it into KRAFTCARD. You can just sort of age it just a tiny bit with the Sunlit Cedar. Pop that down. In fact, let's get a little right on the top there. Kind of have that coming off the top of that. Give that a second. Now I am going to anchor down that flag so it's in place where I want it, about like that. I've cut the word ahoy twice and stacked that. So let's just use a little bit of spray glue on that. Get all that. Put that right across here. Just to have it just ticking off the edge of that flag a little bit. Give it a second to hold up. And I've created a background using the same French Navy card and Kraft card with mats and a white background that I've pierced. Pop that into place. There we go. Oops, I'll tell you what, let's use a little glue. My glue dot is not wanting to stick on there. And the little handle that's part of the hinge, we can pop that right on top of the spot there. Just add a little bit more dimension. There we go. Give that a second. Move that down. And there you have it. You've got a card with a wonderful nautical feel, and it opens, which is a fun surprise for any recipient. Hope you've enjoyed today's video.